Have you noticed that buying a car these days feels like a financial marathon? Whether you're eyeing a brand new model, a trusty used car, or even an import, one thing is painfully clear. Prices just keep climbing. It is a frustrating trend that has left drivers all over the world asking the same question. Why? What's behind this surge in car prices? And is there any relief in sight for 2025 and beyond? Well, today we're going to pop the hood and break down exactly what's going on. We'll explore the hidden forces pushing prices up, how the market is changing, and what you absolutely need to know before you even think about buying your next car. Let's start with the biggest culprit, a problem that's been haunting the industry for years: supply chain disruptions. Even though the world feels like it's moved on from the pandemic, the global automotive supply chain is still limping. Think about it. A modern car isn't just a simple machine. It's a complex web of thousands of components sourced from suppliers all over the planet, from tiny sensors to massive sheets of steel. And when one link in that chain breaks, the whole system grinds to a halt. The most famous of these disruptions is, of course, the global semiconductor shortage. You've probably heard about it, but its impact is staggering. Modern cars are basically computers on wheels, using hundreds of these tiny microchips for everything. We're talking about your infotainment system, all those advanced safety sensors, the engine management system, your digital dashboard, and driver assist features like adaptive cruise control. The problem is, chip manufacturers have been prioritizing consumer electronics like smartphones and laptops, where the profit margins are often higher. This leaves car companies fighting for scraps, leading to massive production delays. With fewer new cars rolling off the assembly line, the basic law of supply and demand kicks in. Demand stays high, but supply is low, so prices naturally go up. But it's not just about chips. The simple act of moving parts and finished cars around the world has become incredibly expensive. International shipping costs have skyrocketed over the last few years. This is due to a perfect storm of factors: higher fuel prices, massive congestion at major ports, and a shortage of the shipping containers themselves. When it costs an automaker more to get parts to the factory and then ship the finished car to the dealership, guess who ends up paying for it? You got it. Those extra expenses are passed directly on to the consumer, baked right into the sticker price. Next up, let's talk about the rising cost of actually building the car. It's simply more expensive to manufacture a vehicle today than it was just a decade ago. Automakers are getting hit with higher costs from every direction. First, there are the raw materials. Key resources like steel, aluminum, lithium, and copper have all become more expensive to mine, process, and transport. Lithium is a particularly interesting case. It's the key ingredient for the batteries in electric vehicles, or EVs. As the world races towards electrification, the global demand for lithium has exploded, pushing its price through the roof. Then there's the human element: labor costs. Building cars requires a huge, skilled workforce, and wages have been on the rise globally. We've seen worker shortages, strikes, and union negotiations demanding better pay and working conditions. While these are important for the workers, they add another layer of expense to the manufacturing process. And finally, cars are just getting more complex because of safety and technology requirements. Governments around the world are mandating more advanced safety features. Things that used to be luxury add-ons, like automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and adaptive cruise control, are now becoming standard. While these features make our roads safer, they also add a lot of expensive hardware and software to every single car, which inevitably drives up the manufacturing cost. Another huge driver of rising prices is the massive industry-wide shift toward electric vehicles. The transition to EVs is reshaping the entire automotive landscape, and it comes with a hefty price tag. The single most expensive component of an electric car is its battery. Even as battery technology improves, producing them still requires rare and expensive materials, not to mention highly specialized manufacturing facilities. Beyond the battery, car companies are pouring billions and billions of dollars into research and development. They're designing entirely new AV platforms from the ground up, investing in next-generation charging technologies, experimenting with eco-friendly materials, and engineering more efficient electric motors. All of these massive investments have to be recouped somehow, and that's reflected in the price you see at the dealership. There's also a fascinating regulatory angle to this. Many countries have set strict rules requiring automakers to sell a certain percentage of zero-emission vehicles or meet tough average emissions targets. To meet these mandates without going bankrupt, manufacturers often play a balancing act. They might sell their new EVs at a smaller profit or even at a loss to meet the quotas. To make up for that financial hit, they often increase the prices of their more profitable gasoline-powered cars and SUVs. So, ironically, the push for EVs can sometimes make traditional cars more expensive. Of course, we can't ignore the simple economics of high demand and low supply. In many parts of the world, especially in developing countries, a growing middle class means more and more people can finally afford to buy a car. This influx of new buyers creates even more competition for an already limited supply of vehicles. And what kind of vehicles are people buying? Overwhelmingly, it's SUVs and crossovers. These have become the most popular vehicle types on the planet. The thing is, they generally cost more to produce than a smaller sedan. And because the demand is so intense, car companies can and do charge a premium for them. This has led to a situation where some of the most popular new models, especially EVs and large SUVs, have waiting lists that stretch from 3 to 12 months or even longer. When buyers are willing to wait a year for a car, dealers know they have the upper hand. This brings us to the dealership itself. The price on the window isn't always the final price. Dealers often add what's known as a market adjustment or dealer markup. This is an extra charge on top of the manufacturer's suggested retail price or MSRP. Why do they do this? It's pure supply and demand. When a particular model is incredibly popular and inventory is scarce, they know some buyers will be willing to pay thousands over sticker price just to get the car now. They do it simply because they can, boosting their profit margins. In some places, dealers also bundle in mandatory packages that might include things like paint protection, anti-theft tracking, or overpriced accessories, which inflates the total cost even further. Looming over all of this is the broader economic picture of inflation and higher interest rates. General inflation affects every part of the car-making business. It raises the cost of electricity to run the factories, the price of new equipment, and the day-to-day operational expenses. These higher costs are inevitably passed on to the buyer. Then there's the cost of borrowing money. Higher interest rates make auto loans much more expensive. So even if the sticker price of a car were to stay the same, the total amount you pay over the life of the loan could be thousands of dollars more. This increases the total cost of ownership, making cars feel even less affordable. This is a direct knock-on effect of the new car market's problems. With fewer new cars available, more people are turning to the used market, which drives up demand. At the same time, many people are holding on to their current cars for longer instead of trading them in, which reduces the supply of good quality used vehicles. When demand is high and supply is low, prices for used cars go through the roof, sometimes reaching levels close to what they cost when they were new. So the big question is, will car prices ever go down? The consensus among most experts is that we're unlikely to see a return to pre-2020 price levels. However, it's not all bad news. We can expect to see some price stabilization. As supply chains slowly heal and chip production ramps up, the extreme shortages should ease, which might cause prices for some models to drop slightly. We're also on the verge of seeing more affordable EV options hit the market. Companies are racing to develop lower-cost EVs for the mass market, and as that technology becomes more widespread, it could help reduce overall pricing pressure across the industry. And finally, increased competition is always good for the consumer. With new and aggressive brands entering the market from China and other regions, established automakers will be forced to compete more on price. But in the grand scheme of things, cars are packed with more technology, more safety features, and more expensive components than ever before. The fundamental cost of building a modern vehicle is just higher now. So, while the market may balance out, cars are unlikely to become cheap again anytime soon. In conclusion, the high car prices we're seeing today are the result of a complex cocktail of factors: lingering supply chain issues, more expensive materials and labor, the costly transition to electric vehicles, high consumer demand, dealer markups, and general inflation. For anyone looking to buy a car in this climate, the best strategy is to be patient and do your homework. Research different models, compare prices from multiple dealerships, and be prepared to negotiate or wait for end-of-year sales or special offers. Understanding these market trends is your best tool for making a smart and cost-effective purchase in a challenging market. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the auto world. See you next time.